Morning, everyone. I'm wearing a hat and a sweater that you can't see the words on it, but it says thankful on it because I really am. I really am thankful. Not even 2 weeks off of radiation, and I'm feeling better, and I'm able to eat and introduce new foods back into my diet. I gotta say, it's thanks to a nutritionist that I work with. I recommend a nutritionist to work carefully with anyone who's got cancer around your gut area. Men, women, doesn't matter. This stuff works. Still taking Beano, though I'm not sure that I will much longer because I've got a probiotic. It's called Saccharomyces Bulardii. And I only took one tablet last night, got it on Amazon, and I know how we all feel about Amazon on occasion, but it came within 24 hours, manufactured by a company called Now, and one pill had a dramatic difference. I feel no discomfort, and I'm eating quite well. I'm having tuna fish salad, no mayo yet, but vegetables. I'm having granola with my yogurt and berries, and I made flank steak with asparagus and sweet potato. I don't think you can get better than that for choice. So kudos to my team in radiology, and kudos to my nutritionist, who is a professional and a compassionate human being who almost knows me, or I think knows me as well as I do. and she knows how impatient I am to be okay. So I'm impatient for everyone else to have similar experience and say, my God, I feel wonderful today. So, and the hat is for my housekeeper from the Philippines who's celebrating her 50th birthday with 3 friends. And they've gone to Italy and Switzerland in less than a week. They're doing this. So in her honor, if any of you switch on to my reaction videos next week, I'm going to be doing more of Marcelito's songs, who's also from the Philippines and a renowned singer. So what is it like in the on the way to the forum? Comedy tonight, tragedy tomorrow? Well, we'll talk about the issues that affect us in a little while. I'm going to do a shameless plug for my book, and it's called Shining a Light on the Mueller Report, a synopsis for everyone. I actually thought when I wrote it, it should be in every school. And you can get a copy of the book. If I get an order for 100, I can sell it to you at $15 a book plus postage. So it might come out to 20, I'm not sure, depending on where you live. But I do think that if you want to understand what happened to the Republican Party and how Donald Trump worked seamlessly with Putin to gather all those emails against Hillary Clinton, and also worked with Putin most likely on the disinformation campaign against Hillary Clinton. Read this book. It's an accurate synopsis of the Mueller Report. I think for too long, the lies have persisted, and they persist. You can send your check, money order, and I'll let you know if there's extra postage, because I'd have to get with Ex Libris to be able to self-publish the books and then send them out to you. You can contact me at TheVoiceOfJoyce at earthlink.net. That's TheVoiceOfJoyce at earthlink.net. And if I get at least 100 people who wish to purchase the book, let's call it $20 and no postage, then I will order the book myself and pay for it and send it to you personally. I think it's worthwhile, especially when it's come to light today in the Washington Post, the New York Times, and other reputable newspapers, that Ginny Thomas, Clarence Thomas of the Supreme Court's wife, was coordinating with Mitch McConnell and the others, meaning the groups like Oath Keepers and other groups, to follow Trump's direction and have the insurrection of 1/6/21, trying to overturn Biden's legal right to the presidency. And so now when they say that they're for Ukraine, well, they watered down the language of the RNC platform on Ukraine. Trump's GOP did that for Trump, who said he would come to their assistance, but didn't say what he'd use to do it. And he also approved of the invasion of Crimea. No mistake about it. Trump is for Trump. The GOP who follows him, they're doing it for the money. If it causes dissension in our country, they don't care. There is no voice countering it, except a few. The goal that they would like to remove Cheney and others who support democracy. The goal that Trump is now going to sue Hillary Clinton. It's like turning reality upside down and making it topsy-turvy. Not right at all. In Europe, they're no longer tolerating the power of technology and social media platforms, though I'm happy to be on some of them and being able to speak to you. And when we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I can do this live screen. And I can then answer questions at the end. So I can talk for a few minutes, and you can ask me questions in a civil manner, and I can address those issues. I'm happy to do so. It will be a very different broadcast, similar, I hope, to what we had on Periscope years ago. Back to Europe. They're regulating the social media platforms. They're telling them they've got to regulate themselves. No more disinformation, no more misinformation on vaccines, climate, and what's happening in the Ukraine. They want Russian sites off of all social media platforms. They are going to enforce their regulations by levying fines if the social media platforms don't comply. And they are going to have gatekeepers. In this country, The thought of gatekeepers makes a lot of liberals or a lot of people who care about free speech upset. Upset because a gatekeeper could be someone who does not value democracy. But if you put the laws in place and very specifically say, you don't want disinformation, you don't want anti-vaccines, you don't want anti-climate, and you don't want Russian influence or any foreign influence of your politics and your elections, well, really, that takes the mystery out of what's allowed and what isn't. And they want to see a stamp across the advertisements, across the conspiracy theories that warn people that this is not truth. I'm for free speech, but I'm for free speech with an informed population that can see the difference between a conspiracy theory, a lie, and the truth. Unfortunately, we don't teach that in our schools. In fact, we don't want too much analytical theory and analytical thinking anywhere. Why else would they be censoring books? Why else would they be scared to allow the truth about America's past and how we won the West? No reason to feel guilty today for what our ancestors did, but we should know and understand how we treated immigrants into this country and how we treated indigenous people. We weren't always kind. And even as I remember as a young girl, when JFK got to be president, everyone was kind of leery that he was Catholic and that would color how he thought about the world. Well, that may be true, but a lot of what he thought was very, very decent, and LBJ transferred it into the Great Society. And because of LBJ, we had a civil rights movement that was successful. Today, I see a lot of division in our country, a lot of division in our politics. It's dreadful when one party says the worst thing that you can do is vote for a Democrat. Am I for their policies all the time? Not necessarily. Am I for or against the GOP all the time? Not necessarily either, except when they went over to Trump. That, for me, is a big red line because it is not pro-democracy. It is similar to Putin's fascism, in my opinion. Speaking of Putin, the United States and a consortium of gas producers are going to supply Europe with 15 billion cubic meters of liquefied natural gas. You might hear something that sounds a little like a machine gun outside my window, but it isn't. It's a power tool that is making the refacing of my building secure. In New York City, every 5 years, you got to put scaffolds up on your apartment house and hire people to then repoint your windows and make sure no bricks or anything else can fall on people who are walking by. That's part of building maintenance. So you might hear a little drilling once in a while, nothing to be disturbed about. I am disturbed about Ukraine and will be continued to be disturbed about Putin's war in Ukraine. When he is able to leave a mark of devastation and scorched earth in that country by using missiles indiscriminately and murdering the civilian population. I am proud, however, to be part Ukrainian. I am also part Russian. My people came from St. Petersburg on my maternal side and from Kiev and Odessa on my paternal side. And I am proud of the Ukrainian people's determination to maintain their nationality against a man who has no bounds for his anger and no limits to the destruction that he can perpetuate. I hope this is not a long war. $600 billion would have gone a long way to help the economics of the Russian people. Instead, Putin chose to wage war on a country that doesn't want him and will never want him, and I fear will just keep fighting on. I've proposed in my blog site that perhaps Zelensky is still suing for peace, and they are pursuing peace talks as we speak, that perhaps on April 15th, which is the beginning of Passover and letting the Jews out of slavery in Egypt, that maybe that's a good day for us to come out at high noon, wherever we are, and say, stop the war on a global level. I'll keep reminding you, and if you think it's a good idea, write me, comment, let me know. We don't have much time, and we don't want total devastation of the Ukraine, nor do we want to have anything drastic happen to the Russian people. Soldiers are soldiers, and the people that Putin chooses to be soldiers, they reflect him and his ideology and his propaganda, and a lot of them are extremely ruthless. So we need peace, and we need peace for a lot of reasons. We can't disrupt the food supply of the rest of the world. We can't have the price of grain increase. So let's think about seriously protesting globally on April 15th, and maybe everyone will join me in this protest. I'll be right here in Lincoln Center, right by my little square. And hey, you never know. But boy, would I like to see that happen. Peace is what we need. So thank you for listening. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to seeing everyone next week and hearing your comments and your feedback. And if you want to know the truth about what happened in the 2016 election and understand what's continuing to happen in Trump's GOP. Thank you once again. Forever grateful, Joyce.